Scene 2, excuse me, Scene 2, the castle at Fife, which if you remember, that's Macduff. And here's where we're gonna start seeing Macduff and Lady Macduff, well, just her in this scene, but Macduff more often, and you need to pay attention to what character is saying what. Don't get him confused with Macbeth. I don't think you will. However, if you just start skimming, not really paying attention, you might make a big mistake in judging what's truly transpiring. If you recall, at the very end of the last scene, Macbeth was told to beware of Macduff, and he was told that Macduff has fled to England, where we know that Malcolm is, and we know where they are with Edward, the King of England. And so he says, okay, well, I will seize upon his house, and I will kill his wife and his babes and anyone that's there. And so now we are transported, teleported, right to the House of Fife, where he lives, where Macduff lives. And we see Lady Macbeth. We'll see her conversing with her son. Lady Macduff is very upset that Macduff, her husband, took off and left her there. If the country is truly so bad, why is the husband leaving his family behind? Okay? And so she's pretty upset. So she's going to have a conversation with her son that's very sarcastic and almost kind of cruel in a way, if you think about it from the kid's point of view. So pay attention to this short scene and kind of the dialogue going back and forth between the son and the wife. And this is their only scene because we know what Macbeth is planning for them. So kind of that dramatic irony once more. Scene 2, Macduff's castle at Fife. This is the one scene where we see Lady Macduff and her son. The son's not really as significant. However, coming into this, on the previous page, we have Macbeth saying, seize upon Fife and we'll kill his wife and his kids and anybody else that's there. The witch's prophecy, beware, beware, beware Macduff. And since Macduff has fled to England, he's out of his grasp and he can't do anything about it. And so he goes, well, what can I do? Well, I can go and kill his family. And so that's what he decides to do. We have the presence of Ross, who is a Thane that I've mentioned a few times. He kind of just shows up sporadically for important points to share certain information or to observe it and then pass that along. And he's kind of doing that here. And he's kind of given her, Lady Macduff, an opportunity to kind of vent. She says, what had he done to make him fly the land? Like, what did Macduff do to leave? Why is my husband not here? He had, you must have patience, madam. Well, he had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors. And so his fear is making him run away. And the thing that we need to focus on, and I mentioned it briefly earlier, was, if the land is truly this horrible to live in and it's this dangerous, why would he leave his children and his wife alone here? This is a very important question to ask because the next scene, Malcolm even quizzes him on that. Okay, to try to figure out, are you truly here for why you say? If Scotland's that bad, why do you leave your people here? And we'll find out in 5.1, 5.2, when he finds out, it's not even 5.2. He finds out next scene that they die. And he finds out that they die in 4.3, and yet he's shocked. Well, what did you expect would happen? In 4.3, when Ross comes up to him and says, he asks, are my family well? And he goes, well, they were fine when I left them. Which is not a lie, because you can see here Ross is with them and they're fine. But then a page later, he says to Ross tells him that your family's been killed. And he was surprised a page earlier when they weren't killed yet. He goes, wow, the tyrants left them alone? That seems strange. And then he finds out that they died and he goes, oh, horror. Well, what do you expect? You even thought that they were going to be hurt. Now, why did he not take them? It could be, he didn't want them to slow him down. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he thought he could get there and back without anybody knowing. I'm not too sure, but, if Scotland is that horrible, why didn't he take them with him? And that's the frustration of Lady Macduff. And Ross really does the best he can at standing up for Macduff being a noble man, being a very noble individual. So Ross leaves, and then Lady Macduff and her son go back and forth and kind of have a rough a little altercation back and forth about your father's dead. No, he's not. Yes, he's dead. He's dead to us. Well, he's not really dead, or else you'd probably go. And she goes, oh, I'll go buy another one, and blah, blah. I mean, it's just back and forth. It really doesn't affect the whole plot too much. The thing is, it's kind of sad that their last moments together were, clashing at each other, and her trying to be a little mean to him, and he's defiantly still saying his dad's alive and still staying loyal to that bond and that relationship. And then on 378, around line 61, 62, the character of the messenger shows up, and he says, bless you, fair dame, I am not to you known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. You don't know me, but I know you. You don't know me at all, so you have no reason to believe me, but you need to listen to me. I think you need to leave this house now. There are some people coming, and you best not be here. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here, hence with your little ones. Well, whither should I fly? Where should I go? Where should I run? This is my family. My husband's already left. I'm paraphrasing all this stuff, making stuff up. But, where should I go? And ultimately, she doesn't leave. And that's where we see it play out on the next page that, the character, once again, appropriately named murderer, shows up, and he kills the kid, and then chases her off stage and kills her. Now, remember what I've said many times. A lot of the action happens off stage, okay? Especially with battles and stuff, because just put 10 people on there fighting, and it would be crazy overload of sensories because all of this stuff's happening. You can't focus. And so a lot of the action actually happens off stage. Seldom do they have big death scenes on stage for little characters like this. Now, big characters, yeah, they probably killed them on stage. Romeo and Juliet, that was on stage. Hamlet, on stage. Macbeth, we shall see.